What's up, guys? I'm here. I'm sweaty. I got wet in the rain, and I'm here to talk about something that pisses me off just a little bit. So, as some of you may already know, back in July of last year, my girlfriend and I got a puppy, and we got a German Shepherd, okay? And he's been in, I think, one video so far. He was just kind of meandering around the room while I was talking to the camera. And I've posted some pictures on my personal Instagram and whatnot. I haven't really tried to make him a huge point of the channel because I don't want people thinking I'm using him for views or anything like that. And, you know, I don't feel comfortable just being like, look at my dog. But anyway, that's completely besides the point. He just turned one a handful of days ago. So he's a big boy. He's probably about 80 pounds right now, and he's only a year old. He's got a whole another year or so to continue growing. I probably assume he's going to be around 90 in the 90s for his weight. He's going to be around 90 to 100 pounds. And that's based on his parents and just how he's growing now. At any rate, there is a certain stereotype that comes with German Shepherds, much like you get with dogs like pit bulls or like Doberman Pinschers or any other dog that usually gets on a restricted breed list when it comes to housing and with like apartments and stuff like that. And it kind of pisses me off because I've known people growing up who've had pit bulls, and it's one of those things where it's not true that all pit bulls are aggressive and mean and want to bite and attack and fight and all that. That's not the characteristic of a pit bull, right? It's training and how the dog is raised that affects its behavior. Same thing goes for German Shepherds, okay? And I probably shouldn't be getting so upset over this because it's just what other people think, but I just can't help but get upset because it affects me in a number of different ways. There are times where I am walking him. His name is Dio, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that. Dio, like Ronnie James Dio. And there are times where I can be walking him on the sidewalk, and if somebody is walking at us, they have seen me with him, even when he was tinier, and they would cross the street or turn around and make sure to avoid us because and this is me assuming what they're thinking based on their behavior, they're thinking that he's aggressive or he's going to bite them or something stupid like that. Which brings me into another case. So in the last couple months, we've started bringing him to a dog park in my area to get him to socialize with other dogs and to wear him out and let him run around because he's in an apartment with us, so I don't have a yard that I can just let him free and run around. The dog park allows me to take him off the leash and let him go run in a big yard, essentially, and burn off all that energy. Because one, he's a puppy, and two, he's a German Shepherd, and that's a lot of energy to deal with. I can only do so much at home. But when we're there, you know, there's actually a lot of other German Shepherd owners that bring their German Shepherds to that park, which is nice. And he's made a lot of friends that are German Shepherds. And he definitely feels more at home when other Shepherds are there. However, there have been a couple of people that have been there that have not directly said anything to me. But I can tell by the way they look at him, by the way they act when he gets near their dog. And it's more of an annoyance thing because I have to come up and be like, don't worry, he's not aggressive. He's a very tame dog. If your dog lashes out at him, he'll probably be more like, whoa, dude, chill out. More so than he would be like trying to bite or fight back. He's very calm and collected. It takes a lot to get him up to a point where he wants to fight back. And I have yet to really see that even happen yet. And it's just a really big annoyance thing. And I have to continuously tell people like, hey, he's not aggressive. He's not going to do anything. Like, you don't have to worry and whatnot. But you could still see people give him that look. That like, stay away from my dog, stay away from me kind of look. And as a German Shepherd owner that sees that, yes, it's what other people think. So why should I care so much? I shouldn't care so much. But it's just one of those things, like, he doesn't do anything wrong. He's one of the friendliest dogs I've ever had, that I've ever met. And people immediately stick this aggressive, mean stereotype to him based on his breed. And I think it's fucked up, and I think it's really stupid. And it brings me into another point, because that's only the surface of it. The biggest point that kind of pisses me off, and it started to piss me off more and more now that I've had him. I've always thought it was a stupid thing. And I know there are some reasons for it, but breed restrictions at properties. Like if you are trying to move to an apartment or some kind of rental property, they may or most likely will have a section for your pets if they allow pets. And within that part of their contract and their rules and their leases, it will have a breed restriction. Okay. And, a lot of times, one of the breeds that are restricted for dogs is German Shepherds. Others might include Doberman Pinschers, Pit Bulls, like bulldogs, big bulldogs. You know, they have a list of those dogs that are stereotypically pinned as aggressive. Now, I get it. Some people have German Shepherds in their head as being aggressive because they are used in canine units with the police. And they don't use them because they're aggressive necessarily. They use them because they're very intelligent dogs. And they learn quick, and they're very trainable to do what you want them to do. And which leads back to what I was saying before. It comes from training and how you raise the dog, the aggressiveness. If there's an aggressive dog, usually something bad happened to that dog. Either the owner treats it like shit, it got beat up by other dogs, and it was a stray, and it had a terrible life. Like, it's something that traumatized that dog that caused it to behave that way, much like people. It doesn't just happen. Something has to cause it. And it's a frustrating thing now that Kaylee and I are looking for a new place to live, that even they have a breed restriction. And I get it. There's stereotypes, but it's frustrating that people just believe that stuff and continuously have these breed restriction lists in a legally binding contract situation. And it causes a lot of issues because, to me, it's really frustrating when a rental property itself will even try to do some weird stuff with charging you for your pet. Like, I understand you maybe want to charge it in case the pet ruins some of the property, and that helps to kind of cover any kind of damages maybe. But some of these places get a little out of hand with like a $400 fee for having the dog. Then it's an extra $50 a month and all this crazy shit that it just seems like it's a situation of taking advantage of what they're allowed to do. And like I said, I kind of get it, but I'm the kind of person that thinks of pets as extensions or part of the family. I don't think of Dio as just our pet dog. He's part of the family. So it's basically, to me, like trying to move to some place and telling them that, like, if me and my immediate family were trying to move into an apartment or something, and they said, sorry, your brother can't move with you guys because he's too tall and I think he's aggressive. To me, it's the same thing where you go, oh, your dog is this kind of breed, so we're just going to say, nah. I think that stuff is really stupid. Like, it should be different than the way it is, because that deters a lot of people. Because my dog's not going anywhere. I'm not going to get rid of him just to move to your rental property. Like, that's never going to happen. And I'm sure maybe some people do that. I would feel and think very poorly of that person for doing that, unless it was an extreme situation. But that's not going to happen. There should be like a screening process maybe of like having the management or the people that run that property meet the dog and interact with it and see how it is, and then approve it that way. And I know some places have done that before. When we first got him, the current residence that we have now, did a little bit of that. Yeah, they still have the breed restriction stuff in their leases and in their rules, but part of what they wanted to do to make sure that he would be fine was meet him and interact with him. And so we brought him to the office one day when he was a little puppy and let them meet him, and they just checked him out and was like, okay, cool, he's good to go. It should be like that. There shouldn't be this restriction list, because it's I don't know. I think it's discriminatory towards dogs, which I'm not trying to preach from a high pedestal. I'm not trying to act like I'm on a high horse or preaching from a soapbox. But it's just one of those things that really, the more and more I think about it, gets to me and kind of is just really stupid. And it just should be done differently, in my opinion. And I think these stereotypes of these certain dogs need to be proven wrong. And I think a lot of times I end up doing that with Dio, because people think, oh, he's going to be aggressive, and then he's not. Like, there's this guy at the dog park that I met who had a puppy husky, and he was very timid around shepherds. And at the time when I met him, there was Dio and a couple other shepherds in the dog park at the same time. He just didn't want to pet them. He didn't want to go near them, and he was very leery. He's since then kind of warmed up to them, because all of the shepherds that have been at that dog park are nice and friendly dogs. And so, you know, it takes that kind of effort and that kind of situation to really get people out of that mindset. And the same goes for pit bulls. Whenever I see a pit bull, I don't think, okay, I need to stay away. It's a dog. You know, it's just a dog. And if it's raised wrong, then that's a problem. And usually you can tell from the owner or from the dog how the owner is, you know, and how they treat him. It's pretty easy to see when there's a dog like being abused, you know, but there needs to be a more, there needs to be a screening style process done for these things. And again, maybe I'm just like talking to nobody right now, and maybe I'm alone in thinking this, but it really frustrates me. And it doesn't matter so much with Dio, because Dio is my registered ESA. And, you know, I know people have their opinions about ESAs in the first place, but my doctor, you know, approved it and all that. It's legit. I'm not trying to game the system. He is my registered ESA. So which that basically means that they can't discriminate against me because he's my ESA. So if there's a breed restriction at a place I'm trying to move, he doesn't technically, that doesn't count for him. Like they can't have a restriction for me, weight or breed or anything like that. They have to allow me to have him. And that's fine. And I'm glad that there's that out there that allows this kind of thing to happen. Because again, I think it's bullshit that these places have these breed restrictions. And, you know, maybe it goes back to the owners having a bad experience with a certain type of dog. But you got to be a little more open-minded than that. It's never the dog's fault when it has terrible behavior. It's usually the owner. And you can tell a lot about a person from the way their dog acts, right? Within reason. And it's just one of those things, man. It irritates me the more and more I think about it. Instead of having, oh, these are our breed restrictions. If you have this dog, then you can fuck off. How about you have someone trying to move into your place, your property. You go, oh, do you have a dog? Yes. Okay. Well, here's our process. We have to meet the dog, and it has to kind of pass this preliminary exam of behavior and friendliness and all that kind of stuff before we allow you to have this pet. And that's just completely disregarding ESAs and service animals in general. But that's just like the general idea of it. That's how the shit should be. I don't know who has the power to change that shit. I don't know all the legality behind it. It just, in my opinion, needs to change. And it frustrates the hell out of me that it's like that. You know, it doesn't affect me that much because they don't necessarily matter in my situation, those restrictions. But the fact that they exist based on those kinds of stereotypes of aggressive dogs irritates the hell out of me. And even if people try to argue that, oh, well, statistically, German Shepherds and Pit Bulls are more aggressive dogs because blah, 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 blah. What? Fuck all does that matter? That just means statistically more people train and abuse German Shepherds and Pit Bulls the wrong way. Like, they train them the wrong way and they potentially abuse them more so than other breeds. Mainly because Pit Bulls can get muscular and they're tough dogs. German Shepherds are tough dogs, but that doesn't mean they're aggressive. Probably statistically more used for dog fighting and aggressive dog behavior. Okay, so screen the dogs instead of just saying, okay, a few bad apples spoil the whole lot. That's just my thought. That's all I got for you at this point. I just really wanted to rant about this stupid thing that exists. If you're a dog owner, and more specifically like a German Shepherd dog owner or a Pit Bull dog owner or any other breed that's typically a restricted breed on these kinds of paperwork and forms and stuff for property, you know how I feel. And if you have any stories or anything that you would like to mention about this, definitely let me know down in the comments, because I would love to hear what your thoughts are on how either stupid I'm being about this whole thing or how stupid the whole idea behind the restriction is in the first place. It's a problem, man. It's a very, very big problem. But like I said, this is a rant about a lot of stuff. Thank you if you've made it this far into it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for really hearing me out on these things. I don't make videos like this very often. It's usually something that really gets to me that I make these, because obviously this is not based around music, but I think it's a topic worth discussing. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Stay metal, my friends.